So hello guys, right now I will talk about cost classification. There is 6 types of cost classification. First, behavior. Second, traceability. Third, controllability. Fourth, value change. Fifth, product cost. And lastly, timing of the expense. So the first type of cost classification is behavior. There are two types of cost behavior, which is variable cost and fixed cost. Variable cost is a cost that changes directly to the level of activity. For the example, direct material, wages, and etc. For the variable cost, the cost will increase when the level of activity increases. It is different with fixed cost, which is a cost that remains unchanged. It means that no matter how huge the change in the level of activity will never affect the fixed cost. Easy example, you can have rent, expenses, depreciation, and etc. Next is traceability. There are two types of traceability. First, direct cost. Second, indirect cost. Direct cost is the cost that can be traced to a particular cost object. For example, direct material and direct labor. Because you can trace direct material cost when you see the one particular product. So for the next is indirect cost. Indirect cost is the cost that cannot be traced to a particular cost object. For example, is utility expense and rent, because utility expense cannot be divided into a certain department to calculate the cost of the product. So we can assume that you cannot be able to trace the cost of the product. So it will be indirect cost. Next is controllability. For the controllability, we have two types of cost, which is controllable cost and uncontrollable cost. Controllable cost is the cost that can be controlled by the specific manager. This means that the cost can be controlled by the manager, not the other parties. For example, wages for the labor, we can assume that the manager have the power to increase or cut the labor's wages. So, for the uncontrollable cost, the uncontrollable cost is the cost that cannot be controlled by the manager. For this cost, it can be controlled by the external user, such as supplier and government. For the example, price of raw material, because the price of raw material can only be controlled by the supplier. So that we can assume that the price of raw material is uncontrollable cost. Next is value chain. Value chain is a set of linked processes or activities that begin with acquiring resources and with providing product that customer value. So there are two levels of value chain, which are upstream, which is acquiring resources, and downstream, that are providing products that have the customer value. So in the upstream level, we can have research and development, which is R&D, design, and supply. While for the downstream level, we have marketing, distributions, and customer service. Basically, the value chain is the process that requires a company to providing a product that have a customer value. The process starts with R&D, design, next supply, and we have manufacturing as the primary processes, And going to marketing, distributions, and the last step is customer services. Next is manufacturing or product cost. There are three types of cost, which is direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. So, what is direct material? Direct material is the cost of material used in the manufacturing product and cost that be able to be traced to the product. Direct material is the one kind of material that are very significant to the product. For example, flour for bread factory, plastic for the Tupperware company, and etc. Next is direct labor. Direct labor is the labor costs that were used to convert a raw material to finished good. This is only for the labor that are involved in the production processes. For example, baker in a cake shop, and etc. Next, we can have manufacturing overhead. Manufacturing overhead is all the manufacturing costs other than direct material and direct labor. The other name of manufacturing overhead is indirect manufacturing cost. For example, we can have utility and indirect material. So, when you plus direct material cost with the direct labor cost, we will get the prime cost. So basically, prime cost is the main cost in the production. And when you plus direct labor cost with manufacturing overhead cost, we will get the conversion cost. Conversion cost is the cost that involved to convert the raw material to finished good. Last cost classification is timing of expense. For the first, you can have like product cost, and period cost. Product cost is all costs that involve in the production. Other name of product cost is inventoriable cost. For example, of product cost is direct materials and direct labor. For next, we have period cost, the cost that not involved in the productions. Other name is non-manufacturing cost. For example, office clerk salary, accountant salary, and all administration expenses. That's what we call period cost, the cost that not involved in the production. So that's all from me. So thank you for watching, and please click subscribe, comment, and like my video. Thank you everyone. Bye. Have a nice day.